Hey, welcome back to Time to Shine Today, episode 24. Who is at your mastermind table? This is Scott Ferguson. Let's level up. Hey, everybody, my varsity squad, Fergie Fanatics. Welcome back to another episode of Time to Shine Today. Got a little knowledge nugget today regarding having your mastermind table. And I have one that I started in 2000, the year 2000. My mentors kind of told me to read a book. Actually, it was a little bit before 2000. They told me to read the book Think and Grow Rich. But in there, the great Napoleon Hill said you must have a mastermind. One of the best quotes that I've ever seen in, I guess if you want to call it a self-help book or a self-improvement book, comes from Napoleon Hill. And it goes as such: no two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third, invisible, intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind. And again, that's by Napoleon Hill. So what it's saying is that a lot of times two minds are better than one. Somebody that you can bounce ideas off, bounce what your vision to level up is. And because a lot of times you'll sit there and think you're leveling up, but you're really not pushing, for lack of a better term, the envelope far enough and hard enough. And sometimes it's because you just don't know what to do. Sometimes you'll get into a paralysis of not knowing, and then you just don't do it and you don't take action. And what happens then is you delay, delay, delay. And I always say for every day you delay, it takes you 3 days to get it back. So I know that from starting this podcast. I delayed, delayed, delayed. I could have been to 300 episodes by now, but I stopped and I delayed, and I really did not push my envelope to the point. But I learned that when I reached out to certain people, they kept pushing me, and finally I did it. And I'm so glad I did it because of I, how you guys are sending me messages and telling me how much you appreciate it, which means the world to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. So this kind of comes back to our roundtable, and I guess it would be an imaginary roundtable, which is fine. I grew up in a family of blue collar people, and I love them more than anything in the world. But prosperity consciousness was really not at the top of the list and priorities. And I'm not talking prosperity with money. I'm talking prosperity with health, with relationships, with friendships, with my relationship with God, everything. So I found out that I can actually have a round table of my own, and the people don't even have to be there. Okay, when you're in a pickle or you're in a situation where you don't know how to get your way out of it, or again, like you're wanting to, like I said, I wanted to press forward and even just start this podcast or invest in real estate, I needed help. Okay, so luckily there are people that actually still breathe air on this earth that help me, and I'm forever grateful to them. But also there's times when I really want to level up and I don't have access to the people, whether dead or alive, to pick their brain. But what I envision pretty much every day now, I'll have a roundtable session, even if it's 3 to 5 minutes, with people that I really respect. And I envision myself as the chairman of the board sitting at the head of the table. And each one of these people are sitting around the table. And if you've ever been to a networking event, everybody has to get up and give their 30-second elevator pitch. And I envision each one of these people giving up and giving me their pitch and telling me about themselves and telling me about their company. And if I'm thinking through a problem and each one of those people gives the 30 seconds, I can go to that person, whether they're dead or alive. I can reach out on this thing called the internet, read something that I think that person can help me to achieve, and then I implement it. I take action. Period. Okay? So a lot of people ask Fergie, who is at your table? And I tell them, all right, this is my table. Again, it's a nice boardroom with me sitting at the front, chairman of the board. just like you will want to envision yourself. And at this table, I have Jesus, uh, to me, the greatest servant that ever walked the earth. I understand beliefs might not align with mine, but that's fine. If there's somebody that you like there, like Moses or Jacob or Gandhi, whoever, Gandhi's actually at my table. Okay? A man that has so much perseverance and that could just break you down with kindness and empathy. There's nobody that I respect like that. Yeah, so I have Jesus. I do have Gandhi. I have Seneca, the great Stoic. He's really laid back with his writings. Pick up The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday, and you can read a ton by Seneca. And then Ryan kind of breaks in and tells you what his thoughts are breaking down Seneca, which is a great book. Abraham Lincoln, the slave freer. I love a little Martin Luther King at my table, someone that's the epitome of persistence that didn't recognize failure. Got Bruce Lee, be like water, formless. What I learned from Bruce Lee is you don't ever take anything personally and just to adapt to your situation. I have Og Mandino that wrote The Greatest Salesman in the World. Read his book, pick it up. It's in the show notes. Love it. Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of my great country, the United States of America. Colin Powell, one of the best of wartime strategists. I have Viktor Frankl, talk about perseverance through a Holocaust. Read his book, The Man's Search for Meaning, again in the show notes. I got Tony Robbins. Yes, I love it. I've walked on coals. I've met him. Great guy. Always spilling great information and tons of knowledge nuggets. Sam Walton, the starter of Walmart. Read his book. I think it's called The American Way. It's fantastic. Bill Gates, obviously. Steve Jobs, obviously. Elon Musk, man, he's out there doing things with Tesla, and he's kind of like our Tony Stark, a little pun towards the Avengers there. And his vision for everything is huge. And read anything that Elon Musk puts out. Jimmy Iovine, watch the documentary The Defiant Ones. That guy was connected to so many people, not just Dr. Dre. But you're talking Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, Stevie Nicks, Lady Gaga. I mean, the guy founded a lot of talent, and he really taught me that you put blinders on. That's where I kind of get the duality of not giving a crap what people think as long as I'm not hurting them and I'm serving them, along with serving as many people as I can. That duality. Okay, so lastly is Napoleon Hill, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. And just like a networking event or a meeting where people don't show up, I might throw a little Richard Branson in there. I have other people that I totally respect, from Randy Gage, Bob Berg. Sometimes they're put in there. But I just take my problem to that table and I see how they would handle the problem, implement that into finding a solution for my problem. Because I love problems. I live for problems. I want problems to happen daily in my life, because then it gives me a chance to stay on my toes and to work through it. Because one thing you'll learn is that everything's finite. Whether you're going through great times or bad times, it all comes to an end. And it's what you do during that time while you're working through things or enjoying things is what's going to build your character. Okay? So again, I urge you to study those people, and then also go to Time to Shine Today Facebook group. That's timetoshinetoday.com/Facebook, and tell us your people that you would have at your round table, because I might want them at mine. And again, they're not actually going to be able to be at the table, but because of our ability with technology to look into and look up, study these people, you can implement their protocol into how you can level up your life. All right, so I went a little bit longer than I usually do on one of my Knowledge Nugget podcasts, but this is a very important one to me. So make sure you get your mastermind group put together. All right, again, go to our Facebook group, Time to Shine Today, and tell us who's in your mastermind. All righty, guys and gals, thank you so much for listening. Let's get out there. Let's fire up. Let's level up your health. Let's level up your wealth. because it's your time to shine. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on our podcast, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope you will help support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson. Until next time, level up. It's your time to shine.